Introduction: The Deep Sleep. You walk the earth with your eyes open, but your spirit sleeps. You believe you're awake because you feel the cold of winter and the heat of summer, because your flesh hurts and your body feels heavy at the end of the day. You believe you see the world as it is, solid and immovable, like a rock that was there before you arrived. A rock that was there before you arrived, and that will still be there when you are gone. But I tell you, traveler, that is not being awake. That is simply dreaming that you exist. You have fallen into the deep sleep. It is the oldest spell of humanity. It is the forgetting of your own lineage. Imagine a great emperor who, after a blow to the head, forgets his name, his throne, and his power. Confused and amnesiac, he dresses in rags and goes out to beg for bread at the gates of his own palace. He cries because he is hungry. He trembles because he is cold. He begs the guards, who are his own servants, to give him shelter. He feels like a victim of the world's cruelty, cursing his luck, without knowing that in the pocket of his rags he has always carried the master key to the treasure. That beggar is you. You have been taught to believe that you are small. They have told you that you are a creature of circumstances, a dry leaf blown by the wind of fate. A dry leaf blown by the capricious wind of fate. They have convinced you that reality is something that happens to you, and that your only option is to react, protect yourself, or beg for mercy from distant gods who live beyond the clouds. But it is a lie. You are not the leaf. You are the wind. The reality you see outside, your loves, your lack, your battles, are not solid facts carved in stone. They are shadows projected on the wall of a cave. And the light that projects those shadows does not come from an external sun. It comes from the lamp that burns in the center of your chest. You have been looking at the shadows and shouting at them, trying to change them with your hands, without realizing that you are the one holding the lamp. If the shadow scares you, do not fight against the darkness. Change the figure you put before the light. This text that has reached your hands is not a book of teaching. I do not come to teach you anything new, for your soul already knows all the geometries of the universe. Mundane knowledge is dust and ashes. This book is a mirror, an ancient mirror, polished and clean of the lies of centuries. Its only purpose is for you to look into it, and for a moment stop seeing the frightened beggar. Stop seeing the frightened beggar to recognize the face of the king who sleeps beneath the skin. The deep sleep has lasted too long. It has been comfortable, yes, but it has cost you your sovereignty. Now, the earth trembles beneath your feet because it is time to wake up. Not to fight against the world, but to put it in order. Because the world is not your master. It is your clay, and you are the potter who has forgotten how to use his hands. Chapter 1. The Great Mirror of Smoke, the Law of Correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. Thus the miracle of unity is wrought. Hermes Trismegistus. Imagine a man who rises at dawn and stands before a mirror of polished silver. Upon looking at himself, he sees that his face is stained with soot, and that his expression is one of profound sadness. The man, horrified by the image the glass returns to him, begins to frantically rub the surface of the mirror with a cloth. He rubs and rubs, screams at the reflection, orders it to smile, demands that it be cleaned. But no matter how much he polishes the glass, the image remains that of a dirty and sad man. Finally, exhausted and enraged, the man takes a stone and breaks the mirror into 1,000 pieces, blaming it for his misfortune. You smile at the foolishness of this man. You know, with the simple logic of wakefulness, that the problem was not in the mirror, but in the face of the one looking. You know that to change the reflection, one must first wash one's own face and heal one's own heart. However, traveler, I tell you with gravity, you are that man. And the world you step on, the sky you look at, and the circumstances that surround you are nothing more than that great mirror. The first and most sacred law of creation engraved on the emerald tablet millennia ago, is the law of correspondence. Nothing that happens outside of you exists by itself. The external world is only an echo of the internal world. It is a mirror of smoke. It seems solid. It seems to have a will of its own. It seems cruel or benevolent. But in reality, it is condensed vapor, taking the exact shape of your soul. Today, before attempting to move mountains, we will learn the nature of the mirror, because he who fights against his reflection dies exhausted. But he who changes his face transforms the world without touching it. Now the illusion of solidity, the deception of the senses. Since you were born, your eyes of flesh have deceived you. They have told you that the mountain is hard, that the river is cold, and that gold is scarce. They have taught you that the world is out there, separate from your skin, and that you are a small inhabitant who must navigate its dangers. This is the great illusion. The ancient sages taught that the universe is mental. Imagine that the physical world is like ice, and your inner world, thoughts, emotions, spirit, is like water. Ice seems hard, sharp, and permanent. If you hit it, it wounds you. But ice is nothing more than water that has lowered its vibration until it stopped. In the same way, your physical reality, your health, your wealth, your relationships, is nothing more than your thoughts and emotions frozen in time. Poverty is not a curse from the gods. It is frozen fear. Disease is not a punishment of chance. It is internal discord made flesh. Loneliness is not an absence of people. It is the presence of your own solidified inner wall. The initiate understands that he cannot change the ice by hitting it with a hammer, brute force. He can only change the ice by applying heat, spirit. By heating the internal water, the external ice melts and takes a new form. But the sleeping man keeps hitting the mirror, trying to force the world to be kind while he remains hostile inside. The mechanism of reflection, the hidden face. Let's talk about how this mirror of smoke works. The universe is impartial. It does not judge. It has no human morals. The mirror does not say, "Oh, this man is good. I'm going to show him a beautiful image." Nor does it say, "This woman has sinned. I'm going to show her an ugly image." The mirror is a perfect and ruthless servant. It reflects what is there. If you present yourself to life with fear of being abandoned, the great mirror has no choice but to show you abandonment. Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it must be faithful to your mission. If you present yourself to life with the certainty of scarcity, guarding every coin with greed and fear, the great mirror will show you losses, thefts, and unexpected bills. The universe constantly tells you, "Do you believe the world is a dangerous place? So be it. Here is the danger." Do you believe the world is a garden of blessings? So be it. Here are the flowers. The mirror of smoke does not reflect what you pretend to be. It does not reflect your social mask. It reflects your substance. You can smile at others and say sweet words, but if in the basement of your heart you hold a grudge, the mirror will bring you betrayal. Because the law of correspondence is precise to the last atom. As within, so without. There are no errors in the reflection. There never were. If your life is a chaos, it is because your inner temple is disordered. If your life is a struggle, it is because there is a civil war in your spirit. Stop blaming the glass for the ugliness of the image. Third, the demon of projection. The human mind, in its state of sleep, rejects this truth with violence. The ego shouts, "No, I am good, I am a victim. It is he who shouted at me. It is fate that impoverished me." This is called projection. It is the act of casting your own shadow upon the world so as not to have to recognize it as yours. When you see a tyrant in your government or in your work, you are seeing your own internal tyranny reflected, perhaps toward yourself, or toward your children, or toward your body. When you see injustice in the streets, you are seeing the part of you that is not just with your own soul. The entire world is a Rorschach test, an ink blot in which each person sees their own ghosts. The master stops projecting. The master assumes radical responsibility. When the storm arrives, the master does not curse the clouds. He asks himself, what storm is in me that has summoned these thunders? What silence have I kept that now screams in the wind? By assuming authorship of the reflection, you recover the power to change it. As long as you blame the outside, you are a slave. The moment you say, this is mine, I have created it, you become the king. For if you created it, you can destroy it and create something new. First, the delay of the echo, the potter's patience. Here lies the secret that makes so many seekers abandon the path. The mirror of physical reality has a special quality, density. Matter is slow, spirit is fast. When you change your face in front of a glass mirror, the reflection changes instantly. But the great mirror of smoke of reality has a delay. Imagine the night sky. The stars you see today perhaps died 1,000 years ago, but their light takes time to reach your eyes. What you see is the past. In the same way, your current reality, your bank account, your health today, your house today, is the old light of your thoughts from months or years ago. It is your solidified past. The aspirant begins to change from within. He starts to think of abundance, to feel love, to clean his inner temple. But the next day, he looks at the mirror of his life and sees the same thing. He sees the same poverty. He sees the same loneliness. And he shouts, "The law is a lie, I have changed and the mirror does not change." And frustrated, he returns to his old face of sadness. Foolish man. The mirror was about to change, but the inertia of matter requires time. You must hold the new inner image, even though the outer reflection still shows the old image. This is faith. Faith is not believing in the invisible blindly. It is the capacity to maintain the smile before a mirror that still shows you crying, knowing that, by physical law, the reflection must update if you hold the gesture long enough. You must ignore the senses. Your eyes see scarcity, the past. Your soul sees abundance, the future in gestation. Whom will you believe? The dead lie of yesterday or the living truth of tomorrow? Havi cleaning the glass, the purification. If we understand that as within, so without, the only task worthy of a creator is the cleaning of the inner temple. It is not about fixing the world. It is about fixing you. The ancient alchemists called this the operation of the sun. Observe your life coldly, as a scientist observes an experiment. Observe it not as a victim mourns a tragedy. Is your house a chaos? Your mind lacks discipline. Do your friends criticize you? You judge yourself without mercy. Does money escape you like water between your fingers? You do not value your own vital energy. Use the outer world as a diagnostic tool. The world is your doctor. It shows you where it hurts inside. Instead of getting angry with the symptom, thank it. Thank you, mirror, for showing me that I still hold a grudge. Without you, I would not have seen it. And then, go inward. Go to the silence. Wash the stain in your heart. Forgive. Let go. Put in order. And without you having to lift a finger in the outer world, you will see how the reflection begins to move. The person who criticized you suddenly falls silent or disappears from your life. The money begins to stay. Chaos puts itself in order. It is magic for the ignorant. It is mechanics for the wise. The alchemy of the gaze. The most powerful tool to alter the mirror is the gaze. That which you rest your eyes upon grows. That which you ignore withers. The sleeping man looks at his problems, talks about his problems, and sleeps thinking about his problems. In doing so, he feeds them with his own life. The mirror becomes larger and more terrifying. The creator learns the art of withdrawing the gaze. It is not childish denial. It is a strategic withdrawal of energy. If the mirror shows you war, do not look at it with hatred, for hatred binds. Look at it with peace, or do not look at it at all. turn your inner face toward peace. Build peace in your imagination with such intensity that the noise of the outer war seems like a distant dream to you. Remember the ancient fable. Two wolves fight inside you. One is fear, the other is truth. Which one wins? The one you feed, and you feed it with your attention. The mirror can only reflect that to which you pay attention. If you stop paying attention to the offense ceases to exist in your world. It dissolves like the smoke it is. 7. The master's silence. When you understand the law of correspondence, you stop arguing. Why argue with a reflection? Why try to convince your image in the mirror to change its mind? Silence descends upon you. You no longer need to defend yourself, nor justify yourself, nor convince anyone. You know that if you want to change your environment, you only have to enter your secret chamber, close the door, and perform the alchemical work in the darkness of your being. You become dangerous to the established system because you are free. You can no longer be manipulated through fear. For you know that fear is only a shadow of your own doubt. You can no longer be seduced by false promises because you know that all the gold in the world is already in your inner kingdom, waiting to be materialized. Fate, the circle closes. Traveler, look around you right now. Look up from these pages, look at the room where you are, look at the objects, look at the light. All of that is you. It is your extension. It is your outer skin. If what you see does not please you, do not run away. Do not burn the house down. Sit down, close your eyes, and change the design in the original blueprints of your soul. Imagine beauty. Feel dignity. Invoke power. Do not ask for it to change. Be the change. Assume the posture of the king before having the crown, and I swear to you by the eternal laws that govern the stars and the tides, the great mirror of smoke will have no choice but to obey you, because the reflection has no life of its own. The life is you. The mirror awaits your command. What face are you going to show it today? Chapter 2. The Loom of Dreams. Imagination. Imagination is not a state. It is the human existence itself. Man is all imagination. God is man and exists in us, and we in him. The eternal body of man is the imagination, and that is God himself. William Blake. If the outer world is a mirror of smoke, as we have learned, where then is the original image found? Where is the face forged that will later be reflected in matter? The answer lies in the most divine and worst misunderstood faculty of the human being, the imagination. Since time immemorial, children have been taught that imagining is playing at lying. They are told, stop imagining and put your feet on the ground. They are taught to despise the invisible world of the mind as if it were useless vapor, a fantasy for the idle or the mad. What a great tragedy! By doing this, the hands with which man could mold his destiny are cut off. I tell you, traveler, imagination is not an escape from reality. Imagination is the womb of reality. Nothing exists under the sun. No temple, no sword, no garden, no law, that did not first exist as an image in the mind of a man. Before the stone was carved, the architect saw it finished in his mind. Before the field gave wheat, the farmer saw the harvest in the winter of his thought. The invisible always precedes the visible. The subtle is the father of the dense. This chapter is dedicated to the loom of dreams. We will learn to sit before it and weave the threads of light with such mastery that when the fabric falls upon the earth, it becomes solid facts in flesh and in gold. We will learn the difference between the beggar's fantasy and the king's vision. The eye that sees everything, true vision. The sleeping man walks through the world guided solely by his eyes of flesh. He believes only in what he can touch, weigh, and measure. If his granary is empty, he says, I am poor, for my eyes see the void. The initiate, on the other hand, possesses a third eye, the eye of imagination. This eye has the power to see what is not yet, as if it already were. When the physical world shows him drought, the initiate closes his eyes of flesh and opens his inner eye. And in that sacred vision, he sees the rain fall. He smells the wet earth. He feels the coolness on his skin. He does not see it as a distant hope, but as a present fact in the invisible plane. And because he sees it with certainty, nature, which is a slave to the divine vision, has no choice but to summon the clouds. Understand this. Imagination is the sight of God in you. God does not wait to see to believe. God sees, and therefore it is. You possess that same spark, but you have used your lamp to illuminate monsters. You have imagined illnesses before having them. You have imagined betrayals before suffering them. You have imagined failures before trying. You have used the loom to weave your own shroud. Today, you will learn to weave your royal cloak. Tis fantasy versus creative imagination, the divine office. We must make a distinction as sharp as steel, for this is where many get lost in the labyrinth of madness. Fantasizing is not the same as creative imagination. Fantasy is the drug of the slave. The slave sits in the mud and dreams that he is king to escape for a moment from the pain of his chains. He sees himself on a throne eating delicacies, but in the depths of his heart he knows it is a lie. He feels the nostalgia of what he does not have. When he opens his eyes, the contrast between his dream and his reality causes him more pain. Fantasy dissipates energy. It is a leak. It builds nothing. It only consoles. Creative imagination is the work of the master. The master does not use the image to escape, but to transform. When he imagines, he does not do so with the nostalgia of, "I wish it were so," but with the certainty of, "So it is." The master enters his mental chamber and works. He takes the threads of desire and the colors of emotion, and weaves the scene with the precision of a craftsman. He does not stop until the image is solid, until it has weight, until it has an aroma. And when he finishes his meditation, he does not feel that he returns to sad reality. He feels that physical reality is now the lie, and that his vision is the truth that is yet to arrive. The fantasizer sighs, the imaginer commands. Thirst the senses of the soul touching the invisible. How is it woven in the loom of dreams? It is not enough to see a blurry image in the mind, like someone seeing a distant painting. You must enter the painting. You must use the senses of the soul. Your physical body has 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Your spiritual body also has them, and they are infinitely more powerful. To materialize a desire, you must give it life through these internal senses. Imagine that you desire a rose. It is not enough to see a red rose floating in the darkness of your mind. That is weak. You must take it with your imaginary hand. Feel the velvety texture of the petals. Are they cold? Are they soft? Feel the thorns on the stem. Do they prick? Bring it close to your nose. Breathe in deeply. Do you smell its sweet and intoxicating perfume? If you manage to make your imaginary sense of smell smell the rose, you have achieved the miracle. Because in the great book of nature there is no hallucination. There is no complete sensory hallucination without its physical correspondence. If your internal senses confirm it as real, universal law sets in motion to bring that rose to your hand of flesh. This is the secret of the ancient thaumaturges. They did not pray with empty words, they prayed with sensations. They felt health in their bones before healing. They felt the weight of the coin in the palm before receiving it. They felt the embrace of the beloved in the empty air. The universe does not understand your spoken language. It understands the language of sensation. If you feel it is real, it is real. It is Taifa, the law of occupation inhabiting the state. Many visit their dream as one visits a distant temple. They go on a Sunday, pray a little, and then return to their house, which is the problem. The Creator does not visit his dream. He moves in to live in it. This is called the law of occupation. You cannot bring your desire to your current level of consciousness. You must raise your dwelling to the level of the desire. If you desire to be wise, you cannot continue thinking like an ignorant person and wait for wisdom. You must occupy the state of wisdom right now. You must walk, eat, and sleep as if you were already the sage. Imagine that your desire is a beautiful house. In your imagination, do not look at it from the outside. Enter, open the door, walk through the hallways, sit in the armchair and look through the imaginary window at the landscape you wish to see. Sleep in that bed every night. Make that vision your habitual dwelling. Get used to it. Make it feel natural to you. When you occupy a state of consciousness with persistence, you expel your old reality. Like oil expels water, your new vision, being denser and more real to you, will push out of your life the old circumstances that no longer fit with the new tenant. V, the watchdog of reason, the enemy. At the entrance to the temple of imagination, there is a fierce and noisy watchdog. His name is reason, or sometimes common sense. This dog has been trained by the world to bark every time you try to cross the threshold of the possible. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself healthy, the dog barks, "Lie! Your body hurts. The doctor said it is incurable." When you imagine yourself abundant, the dog barks, "Absurd! Look at your empty purse. You have no gold." Most men, frightened by the barks of reason, draw back. They accept the evidence of their senses and abandon the vision. They believe that being reasonable is virtue. But the Creator knows that reason is a good servant for small things, but a terrible master for great things. Reason only knows the past. It only knows what has already been. It knows nothing of the future or of the possible. To enter the loom of dreams, you must learn to ignore the dog. Let it bark. Don't argue with it. Don't try to convince your logic that it is possible. Simply pass it by. Enter the silence. Where reason says it cannot be done, imagination says it is already done. Faith is the audacity to walk through reason toward the invisible truth. Thanks to the golden thread, the emotion, a loom needs threads to weave. The mental image is the pattern, the drawing you want to create, but the thread is emotion. An image without emotion is like a body without blood. It is a pale corpse. It has no life. It has no power to be born. You can spend 100 years visualizing that you are a king, but if you do it with coldness, like someone looking at a painting on the wall, nothing will happen. You must infuse it with the secret fire. You must feel the emotion you would feel if the desire had already been fulfilled. What would you feel if your miracle were realized today? Would you feel euphoria? Would you feel a deep peace? Would you feel gratitude? Would you feel an immense relief as if a burden were lifted from your shoulders? That feeling, that relief, is the golden thread. You must weave your image with that thread. Wrap your vision in the atmosphere of realization. Bathe in it until it intoxicates you. It is the mystical union between thought masculine and feeling feminine that engenders the sun, the manifestation. Without the sacred marriage within you, there is no birth on the outside. Zephyr, sowing in the night the magical moment. Although you can come to the loom at any time, there is a sacred hour where the veil between worlds is thin as silk. It is the moment just before sleep, when the body is tired and the dog of reason has fallen asleep. The ancients called this state the half-sleep. In that instant, you are neither from here nor from there. You are pure spirit floating over the waters. Do not waste that sacred moment reviewing the sorrows of the day. That is sowing weeds in your own garden. Use that moment for the great work. Bring before your inner eye the scene that implies your desire has already been fulfilled. A short scene, a handshake, a hug, a sentence, "Thank you, Father." Repeat that scene in a loop like a lullaby. Feel its reality, and let yourself fall into the abyss of sleep while inhabiting that scene. If you fall asleep in the fulfilled desire, the great subconscious, the servant of God, takes that order and works all night to weave it. It weaves it into your reality of tomorrow. What is sown in the night is harvested in the day. This is the discipline of the king, never to allow the sun to set upon his anger or his fear. Always sleep in victory. Feki, the invisible harvest persistence. You have woven, you have felt, you have slept in the truth. You wake up and the world remains the same. The mirror of smoke has not yet changed. This is where the weak give up. They say, I tried it one night and it didn't work. The Creator smiles. He knows that every seed has its time of gestation. He knows that under the dark earth, the seed has already broken and the roots are searching for water. He knows that the fabric is already woven in the causal plane and that it is now traveling downward toward the density of matter. Do not dig up the seed with your doubt. Do not look at the clock with anxiety. If you have done the work in the loom, the fabric exists. It is as real as the rock you step on, only it has not yet reached your hands. Walk through the world with the secret of one who knows he is rich, even if his pockets are empty. Walk with the dignity of one who knows he is loved, even if he sleeps alone. That inner certainty, that loyalty to the invisible vision, is what accelerates time. The world bows before the man who knows who he is. The world steps aside to let pass those who walk with a clear vision. Night, the art of forgetting, releasing the loom. Once the fabric is woven, you must cut it from the loom. If you keep weaving and weaving the same piece with anxiety, you spoil it. There comes a moment of certainty, a moment of Sabbath or rest, where you feel it is done. You no longer need to imagine it anymore because you feel that it is already yours. You no longer have hunger for the desire because you have been satiated in the imagination. That is the moment to let go. Return to your mundane tasks. Wash your cup, sweep your house, tend your garden, but do so with lightness. You no longer search. You no longer pursue. You wait with the quiet confidence of one who knows that the messenger is on the way. You have launched the arrow. Now let it fly. Chapter 3. The Fertile Silence, the Law of Gestation. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Ecclesiastes 3:1-2. Listen to the parable of the foolish farmer. There was a man who fervently desired a harvest of golden wheat before winter arrived. He prepared the earth with care, furrowed the fields, and deposited the best seeds his money could buy. But the next day the man went out to the field and saw that the earth was still dark and bare. There were no green shoots, there were no ears of grain. Impatient, he dug up the earth with his own hands to see if the seed was still there. He found it intact but asleep. "Grow," he shouted at it, and he buried it again. On the second day he did the same, and on the third. On the fourth day, seeing that the surface remained silent, he dug up all the seeds, cursed them for being sterile, and threw them into the fire. That man died of hunger in the winter. He died not because the land was bad, nor because the seed was dead, but because he violated the law of silence. Traveler, you who have learned to clean the mirror and to weave on the loom of dreams, now face the most difficult test of the Creator, the wait. You have sown your intention. You have felt the reality of your desire, but your eyes open and the world remains the same. Silence surrounds you, and in that silence fear begins to whisper to you that you have failed. I tell you solemnly, you have not failed. You have entered the gestation chamber. Just as a child needs 9 moons in the mother's womb to weave its bones and skin, your desire needs time. It needs time under the earth of universal substance to take shape. You cannot force the birth without killing the creature. Today we will learn to inhabit the fertile silence. We will learn to trust in what happens in the darkness. The necessity of the night, the womb of the earth. We live in a world that adores the light of midday and despises the darkness of midnight. We want visible, brilliant, and fast results. But ancient wisdom teaches that all life begins in darkness. The seed germinates under the black earth, where the sun does not reach. The embryo forms in the darkness of the womb. The roots of the great oak sink into the abyss of the ground before the branches touch the sky. Darkness is not the enemy of light. It is the mother of light. When you have planted your desire in the imagination, chapter 2, and watered it with emotion, it inevitably falls into the darkness of the universal subconscious. It disappears from your sight. It seems that nothing is happening. That is the sign that everything is happening. Deep down, far from your anxious gaze, the seed is breaking. Energy is condensing into matter. Circumstances are aligning. Necessary people are being summoned. Paths are opening in the invisible plane. It is a work of divine engineering so complex that, if you could see it, it would blind you. That is why it happens in the shadow, to protect the process from your intrusion. External silence is the guarantee of internal activity. If your life seems to have stopped after a great spiritual work, rejoice. Winter has arrived, and under the snow spring is preparing. To the sin of impatience, digging up the seed. What is the greatest crime against creation? Doubt. And doubt manifests as impatience. When you doubt, you cut the flow of vital energy that feeds the embryo of your desire. It is as if you cut the umbilical cord ahead of time. Every time you ask yourself with anguish, when will it arrive? Why is it taking so long? Have I done it wrong? You are digging up the seed. You bring it out into the raw light of your logical intellect to examine it. And the seed, which needs darkness and heat to live, withers and dies before the scrutiny of your reason. The wise farmer sows and goes to sleep. He does not watch over the seed. He trusts in the law of the earth. He knows that the earth knows how to grow wheat better than he does. He does not know how a small hard thing becomes food. He only knows that it does. You must have that same blind trust in universal law. Once you have done your work, visualizing and feeling, your part is over. Now it is the universe's turn. Do not try to do God's work. Do not try to force doors. Do not manipulate people. Do not run after the result. That is anxiety, and anxiety is the vibration of lack. If you are anxious, you are declaring, I do not have it, and I am afraid of never having it. And the mirror of smoke will respond to you with more waiting. Thirst the rhythm of the spheres. Everything has its time. Look at nature. She is your teacher. The ocean has tides. It rises and falls. It is not always full. The moon waxes and wanes. It is not always full. The day surrenders to the night. Summer yields to autumn. Everything in creation breathes, inhalation and exhalation. Everything has a rhythm. Your desire also has its own rhythm. It has its own gestation time. For a carrot, the time is a few weeks. For an oak, it is years. For a child, it is 9 months. You do not know what the gestation time of your desire is. Perhaps you asked for wealth, and the structure necessary to sustain that wealth takes 2 years to build in your character and circumstances. Perhaps you asked for a love, and that person still has to live certain experiences to be ready for you. If the universe makes you wait, it is not because it is denying you the desire, it is because the fruit is still green. If you eat the fruit ahead of time, it will bitter your mouth and sicken your stomach. If you were to receive fortune before having the wisdom to handle it, that fortune would destroy you, as we see daily with those who win lotteries without preparation. Time is the mercy of the universe. It gives you the space to become the vessel capable of holding the new wine. First, the fertile void, the test of faith. There is a critical moment in every process of creation. Alchemists call it the nigredo, or the dark night. It is the midpoint. You have left behind your old life. You no longer fit in it. But your new life has not yet appeared. You are in no man's land. It is the desert between Egypt and the promised land. This is where most travelers die and return to slavery. Because the desert is silent. It is vast. It is terrifying. Your friends move away. Your money may decrease. Your certainties falter. It seems that everything is going wrong. The ego shouts, "You were wrong, go back," at least before you had security. But the Creator, firm in his vision, knows that this void is not nothingness. It is the fertile void. It is the blank canvas that has been cleaned so that the new work can be painted. If your life becomes empty, rejoice. Only an empty cup can be filled. If you lose friends, jobs, or situations during this time, do not weep. It is the law of gestation making space. It is the universe sweeping away the dry leaves so that new flowers can sprout. Stand firm in the void. Do not fill it with cheap distractions. Do not run to seek comfort in noise. Stay still. Listen to the hum of silence. It is the sound of God working. V. Action in inaction, Wu Wei. Does this mean you should sit on a rock and do nothing until manna falls from heaven? No, that is laziness, not faith. The Creator's wait is an active wait. It is like the woman who expects a child. She cannot make the child. The child makes itself. But she prepares the crib. She weaves the clothes. She cleans the house. She eats well. She lives in a state of preparation. If you have asked for rain, demonstrate your faith by digging the ditches. If you have asked for a trip, prepare your suitcases. If you have asked for a love, make space in your closet and sleep on one side of the bed. These physical acts are rituals of faith. They tell your subconscious, "I know it is coming, I'm preparing to receive it." But there is an abysmal difference between inspired action, preparing the crib with joy, and desperate action, running to look for the child in the street. The first is born of certainty. The second is born of fear. Move only when you feel the impulse of joy. If you feel heaviness, stop. Excessive effort is proof that you do not believe the universe is doing its part. Remember, the sun does not strive to rise. The river does not strive to flow toward the sea. True strength is silent. Fear the signals of dawn, the land birds. When ancient navigators crossed the unexplored ocean, they knew they were near dry land long before seeing the coast. They saw branches floating in the water. They saw birds that do not fly far from the nest. They smelled the earth in the wind. In your gestation journey, there will also be signals. They will not be the fulfilled desire in its entirety, but they will be winks from the universe. You will see the name of your desire everywhere. You will meet people who have what you want. You will feel sudden waves of joy for no apparent reason. You will have lucid dreams where you already live your new reality. When this occurs, do not fall into the trap of envy. If you see another having what you asked for, do not say, "Why him and not me?" Say, "Thank you. It is the signal that my desire is in my orbit. If I see it in my reality, it is because I am on the correct frequency." Bless what you want to see increased, too. These signals are the first green shoots breaking the surface of the snow. Do not trample them. Care for them. Dawn is near. Sabbath, the Sabbath, the rest of God. In ancient scriptures, it is said that God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. Does the infinite get tired? Does omnipotence need to sleep? No. Rest, Sabbath, is a psychological state, not a physical one. It is the state of mental conclusion. To rest means that you have reached such a point of certainty in your vision that you no longer feel the need to keep asking. You no longer work on the image. You feel, it is done. It is a profound peace that transcends understanding. You no longer worry if it arrives today or tomorrow. You know it is yours. It is like when you place an order by mail. Once you have the confirmation receipt, you stop worrying. You know the package is on its way. You do not go to the store every hour to ask for it again. You relax. You live your life. This state of Sabbath is the highest form of prayer. It is the surrender of the small will to the great law. When you enter the Sabbath, manifestation accelerates dizzyingly because you have removed the last resistance, your own anxiety. Rest is the magnet. Feichte, the paradox of detachment, letting go to have. Here we arrive at the great mystery that confuses scholars and frees the simple. To receive something, you must be willing to lose it. You must desire it with all your fire, but not need it for your survival. If you say, "If I do not get this, I will die," you are emitting a vibration of slavery. And the Creator cannot be a slave to his creation. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, often withholds the desire until you stop idolizing it. Until you say, "I desire this, but if it does not arrive, I remain complete. I remain worthy. I remain me." The moment you release the suffocating grip on your desire, the moment you surrender and decide to be happy here and now without the object, boom, it arrives. It arrives because you have stopped obstructing the channel with your need. You have stopped casting a shadow over your own seed. The law of gestation requires the sower's hand to open to release the seed. If you keep your fist closed, the seed never touches the ground. Open your hand, release control. Tied to warning, do not abort the miracle. Traveler, you are warned. The gestation period is the most dangerous, not because of external threats, but because of your own internal sabotage. Many men have been 3 steps from the gold and have turned around. Many have given up just the night before dawn. When you feel the darkness is unbearable, when the silence of the universe seems like indifference to you, when logic screams at you that you are a dreamer, hold on. Hold the vision. It is in that moment of maximum pressure that coal becomes diamond. It is the final test of the guardian of the threshold. If you persevere now, if you maintain faith when there is no evidence, you will have mastered matter. You will have proven that you are superior to the illusion of time. Chapter 4. The Sorcerer Verb, the Power of the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. John 1:1-3. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Proverbs 18:21. Contemplate the potter before his wheel. With his hands he molds the clay in silence. Contemplate the painter before his canvas. With his brushes he traces shapes in silence. But contemplate the supreme creator before the original abyss. He used no hands. He used no tools. He used a single faculty, the voice. He said, "Let there be light." And the light, obedient to the sound, broke the darkness. You who are made in the image and likeness of the architect possess in your throat the same instrument of power. However, you have forgotten its sacred nature. You use your voice to fill the silence with vain noise. You use your voice to narrate your misfortunes. You use your voice to curse the weather, your neighbor, and your own luck. And then you wonder why your life is a constant storm, without realizing that it is your own lips that blow the wind that destroys your house. This chapter is the delivery of the magic wand. It is not a piece of oak wood. It is your tongue. The spoken word is not air blown away by the wind. The word is a decree. It is a vibration that travels from the invisible to the visible, ordering the atoms of matter to group themselves according to the shape of the sound. You will learn today the art of the sorcerer verb. You will learn that to speak is to govern. So the architecture of sound, the vibrational plane. The ancient sages of the East taught that the entire universe is nothing but frozen sound. Nada Brahma. The world is sound. If you could look at a rock with the eyes of the spirit, you would see that it is not solid. It is a dance of particles vibrating at a specific frequency. That frequency is its song. If you change the song, you change the shape. When a man speaks, he does not only communicate ideas to another man. When a man speaks, he emits a shock wave that traverses the ether. That wave crashes against the formless substance of life and gives it shape. The word acts as a mold. If you say peace, the ether crystallizes in harmony. If you say war, the ether crystallizes in conflict. There is no such thing as an empty word. Every syllable you pronounce is a brick you place in the wall of your future. You can build a palace or you can build a prison. Most men are drunken masons. They build crooked walls that end up falling on their own heads. And then they blame gravity. The initiate, on the other hand, measures every word with the precision of a stonecutter. He knows that a word out of place can bring down the great work. Say abracadabra. I create as I speak. At village fairs, illusionists use a word to amaze children. Abracadabra. It has become a game, a mockery. But its origin is Aramaic, the ancient language of the prophets, avracadabra. Its literal translation is terrifying in its exactness. I create as I speak. It is not a poetic metaphor, it is a mechanical law. Speech is the final bridge between the world of thought, fire, and the world of action, earth. It is the act of childbirth. While the thought is in your mind, it is only yours. It is a possibility. But the moment you pronounce it, you release it. You make it real. You give it citizenship in the physical world. Once the word has left your mouth, it no longer belongs to you, it belongs to the law. And the law will work tirelessly to fulfill it. If you say, I am so tired I could die, you have given a death order to your cells. And your cells, which are obedient soldiers, begin to extinguish their vital fires. If you say, I never have enough money, you have signed a decree of poverty before the court of the universe, and the universe will seal your pockets to fulfill your will. You are a sorcerer who walks asleep, casting curses upon his own life and then being surprised by misfortune. Wake up, your mouth is the barrel of a gun. Do not point it at your own foot. Throw it, the poisoned tongue, the unconscious curse. The greatest obstacle for the aspiring creator is not external demons but his own daily conversation. Listen to the men in the market. Listen to their laments. Life is hard. No one can be trusted. Everything is getting worse. I am sick. They call this being realistic or venting. I call it black magic. When you complain, you are invoking that which you detest. Complaining is a prayer in reverse. It is a petition for more suffering. By verbalizing the problem, you anchor it. You give it deep roots in the earth. If you have a small discomfort and talk about it with 10 friends, the discomfort will grow 10 times, for you have watered it with the attention of 10 minds. And even worse is the poison of gossip and criticism. When you speak ill of another, you believe you are damaging their reputation. But the verb is a boomerang. The law of the circle dictates that every word thrown must return to its origin. It returns charged with the fruit of its kind. If you throw words of judgment, judgment will return to you multiplied. You will find harsh judges in your path. If you throw words of envy, envy will eat your bones and dry up your own prosperity. You cannot drink poison expecting your enemy to die. You are the first vessel to be contaminated. The Creator imposes a golden seal upon his lips. If he does not have a word that blesses, heals, or inspires, he is silent. Silence is gold. The idle word is lead. Thus, in the royal decree, the king's authority, there is a vast difference between the beggar's plea and the king's decree. The beggar says, I hope it happens. Please, if possible, I would like. His voice trembles. His word is full of holes of doubt. The universe hears the doubt and does not respond, for doubt annuls creation. The king says, "Let it be done, be I order." His voice is firm. He does not shout, for he does not need to shout. Authority does not require volume, it requires certainty. This is the Creator's way of speaking, the decree. Jesus the Nazarene, great master of this law, did not ask the disease to leave, please. He said, "Rise and walk and come out of him." Peace, be still. He used the imperative mood. He spoke to the elements as one speaks to servants. You must recover that lost authority. The elements of your life, your money, your body, your relationships, are waiting for a clear order. They have been in chaos because their master has been silent or babbling. Stand up in the center of your world. Do not ask for the storm to cease. Order peace to manifest. Say, "I decree that divine abundance flows to me now. I declare that my body is strong and sacred. I order this path to open." At first your voice will tremble, frightened by its own audacity. But if you persist, you will feel how the scepter of power returns to your hand. The universe loves one who commands with justice. The unpronounceable name, I am. At the burning bush, Moses asked the voice what its name was. The voice responded, "I am that I am." This is not just a name, it is the formula of existence. I am, Ehyeh, is the master key of creation. It is the union of spirit, I, with existence, AM. Every time you pronounce these two words, you are invoking the name of God. You are applying it to yourself. What you add after the I am is the form that God will take in your life. It is an inflexible mathematical law. If you say, "I am poor," you are taking the infinite power of God and forcing it to embody poverty. It is a metaphysical blasphemy. If you say, "I am clumsy," you are condemning divine intelligence to act with clumsiness through you. Watch your I ams as a hawk watches its prey. Never, under any circumstances, end that sentence with something you do not wish to see manifested in your flesh. Even if your body is sick, do not say, "I am sick." Say, "I am going through a purification," but keep your identity high. I am perfect health in essence. You do not lie in saying this. You are affirming spiritual truth so that physical truth aligns with it. Use the name to elevate yourself. I am the open door that no man can shut. I am the light of the world. I am the resurrection and the life. Repeat it until your cells vibrate with the truth of your origin. Vici, the word diet, the fast of speech. Just as you care for what enters your mouth so as not to sicken the body, you must care for what leaves it so as not to sicken your destiny. I propose a fast of negative words. For 7 days, make a blood pact with yourself. Strictly forbid yourself from using the words of the slave. Eliminate from your vocabulary. Try, attempt. This is the word of anticipated failure. He who attempts does not do. He who tries is admitting he expects to fail. The master does not try. The master does or does not do. Hopefully, I hope, words of doubt. They place power outside of you in chance. Substitute them with "I trust" or "I know." "I can't." This phrase closes the doors of the mind. The moment you say it, your brain stops looking for solutions. Substitute it with "How can I?" But, the killer of the previous sentence, "I love you, but..." Substitute it with "and." Be the guardian of your mouth. If you catch yourself saying a foolish thing, stop dead. Say "has cancel," and reformulate the sentence immediately with the truth. At first it will be exhausting, for you will realize that your daily language is rotten with negativity. But as you clean your tongue, you will clean your life. Sever to the seal of silence, the law of Hermeticism. There are moments for the decree, and there are moments for the great silence. The ancient alchemists knew that the vessel where the transmutation occurs must be hermetically sealed. If you open the lid ahead of time, the sacred vapor escapes, and the gold does not form. When you have a great desire, a new project, or a nascent love, be quiet. Do not run to tell it to fools. Do not seek the approval of neighbors. Do not expose your tender seed to the wind of foreign opinion. People, in their ignorance or envy, will tell you, "That's impossible, be careful, you can't." And their words, like acid, will fall upon your confidence and burn it. Furthermore, there is a hidden mystery. Speaking dissipates energy. The internal pressure you feel for your desire is the fuel necessary to realize it. It is like the steam in a boiler. If you talk too much about what you are going to do, you release it. You release that pressure through your mouth. Your brain feels the satisfaction of having told it and loses the impulse to do it. The chatterbox never achieves anything. The silent man moves the world. Keep your secret. Let the pressure grow within you until it forces you to act. Let your results speak for you. Let your success make the noise. Verhit, the blessing to speak well. The word bless, bendicere, comes from the Latin benedicere. It means literally to speak well. The word curse, maldicere, comes from maldicere. It means to speak ill. You do not need to be an ordained priest to bless. You have the priestly power on your tongue. Bless everything you touch. Bless your money when you pay it, so that it serves the one who receives it and returns to you multiplied. Bless your body, even if it hurts, to remind it of its holiness. Bless your food, and the most difficult, bless your enemies. This is not morality, it is spiritual warfare strategy. When someone attacks you and you bless them, you create an impenetrable shield of light. Their hatred bounces off your blessing and cannot touch you. By speaking well of them, you rise above their mire. You transform the energy of conflict into energy of grace. Walk through the world as a dispenser of silent blessings. Speak well of the rain. Speak well of the sun. Speak well of the stranger passing by. By doing this, you permeate your atmosphere with a vibration so high that misfortune cannot breathe in your presence. Zeige, the Creator's oath. Traveler, the word is the double-edged sword that comes out of your mouth. Until today you have cut yourself with it, playing like a child with a sharp weapon. Today we give you the scabbard and the hilt. Make this oath before heaven and earth. From this day forward my mouth shall serve only the truth. My mouth shall serve only the truth of my heart. I will not speak of what I do not want to see. I will not lend my tongue to slander nor complaint. My words shall be seeds of light. When I speak, it shall be to build, and when I cannot build, my silence shall be my offering. The world was made by the word. Your world is made by your word. Speak with care, speak with love, speak with power. Because the universe is listening, and its only response to your voice is, "Be it so. Let it be done according to your word." Chapter 5, The Secret Fire, the Transmuting Emotion. Though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. 1 Corinthians 13:2. The wind fans the flame, but it is the heat that melts the iron. Thought without fire is like a cold sword. It cuts, but it cannot change its shape. Alchemical aphorism. Contemplate the blacksmith at his forge. He has the heavy hammer, will, in his hand, and upon the anvil rests the iron bar, reality. The blacksmith desires to transform that coarse bar into a noble and sharp sword. He can strike the cold iron with all his might, day and night until his arms bleed and the hammer breaks. But cold iron is stubborn. It will barely bend, and if forced too much, it will shatter. To mold the metal, the blacksmith needs the primordial element, the fire. Only when the iron is submerged in the burning embers and turns red, white, and liquid does it yield to the strike of the hammer. It becomes docile, it becomes plastic. You, Creator, have been trying to mold your life by striking cold iron. You have used the force of your intellect. You have repeated words without feeling them. You have visualized dry images in your mind. And you wonder why reality is so hard, why it resists your desires, why it breaks before it changes. It is because you lack the secret fire. You lack the temperature necessary to melt the substance of destiny. That fire is emotion. The ancient alchemists did not seek to turn vulgar lead into metallic gold to enrich themselves. That was the smokescreen for fools. They sought internal alchemy. They sought to transmute the lead of dense emotions, fear, anger, sadness, into the gold of the spirit, love, gratitude, ecstasy. They knew that the universe does not respond to what you think, but to what you feel. Thought gives the form, but feeling gives it life. Today we enter the forge of the heart to light the flame that must never go out. I, the clay statue, the dead thought. Legend has it that certain mages could create men of clay to serve them. They modeled the clay with anatomical perfection, eyes, mouth, hands, but the statue remained inert on the ground. It lacked the breath of life. It lacked the heartbeat. A thought without emotion is a clay statue. You can close your eyes and imagine that you are rich. You can see the gold coins piled up. You can see your land stretching to the horizon. But if while you see that, your heart remains cold, or worse yet, if your heart trembles with fear of current poverty, the image dies before it is born. The universe is a great blind hound. It does not see you, it smells you. And the scent of the soul is emotion. If you smell of fear, the universe bites you. If you smell of confidence, the universe follows you. It does not matter how beautiful the words are that come out of your mouth. If the vibration contradicts them, the vibration wins. Emotion is the magnetic language. Thought is electric, it sends the signal. Emotion is magnetic, it attracts the event. Without magnetism, the signal is lost in the eternal void. They are the sacred marriage, king and queen. In ancient Hermetic engravings, one often sees the image of a king, the sun, and a queen, the moon, uniting in a mystical fountain. It is the hieros gamos, the sacred marriage. It represents the union necessary for all creation. The king is the intellect, the idea, the pattern, the masculine seed. The queen is the heart, the feeling. The king alone is sterile, the queen alone is chaotic. An idea without emotion is dead philosophy. An emotion without an idea is hysteria or madness. But when the king, a clear idea, lies with the queen, a deep love for that idea, the son is born. The son is the physical manifestation. You must become the priest who officiates this wedding within yourself every day. Do not allow your mind to wander one way and your heart another. If your mind thinks of health, but your heart feels the terror of disease, there is a divorce in your kingdom. And as Scripture says, every house divided against itself shall not stand. You must make your heart fall in love with your thoughts. You must seduce your own soul with the beauty of your vision until the heart opens and says, "Yes, I accept this truth." When mind and heart become one, the mountain moves. 30. The scale of metals from lead to gold. What is emotion? It is not something that happens to you. It is not the weather. Emotion is energy in motion, emotion. It is the secret fire circulating through your subtle veins. Alchemists classified emotions like metals, from the heaviest and darkest to the brightest and purest. The lead, fear, guilt, apathy. It is dense, it weighs, it paralyzes. It absorbs light and does not reflect it. Whoever lives in lead is a black hole. Nothing can come out of him. The iron, anger, frustration. It is hard, hot, and active. It is better than lead because it has movement, but it is destructive and rigid. The copper, desire, longing. It is a conductor. It is the beginning of the search, but longing implies that one does not yet have it. It oxidizes easily with doubt. The silver, peace, acceptance. It is bright, reflective, and valuable. It is the state of calm necessary to see the truth. The gold, love, gratitude, joy, it is incorruptible. It is the solar metal. It shines with its own light. It is the state of total connection with the source. Your task as a creator is not to deny the lead. Lead exists. Your task is to transmute it. You cannot manifest a life of gold if your inner furnace is burning lead. The secret fire is the ability to take a dense emotion, raise its frequency through breath and vision, and turn it into fuel. Through the great secret, there are no bad emotions. Listen well, for this is the mystery that sets the captive free. There are no bad emotions. There is only misdirected energy. Fear is, in essence, a great amount of energy concentrated on a point, focused on what you do not want. It is a very powerful prayer, but inverted. The intensity with which you fear losing a child is the same intensity, fire you need to heal them, but applied in the opposite direction. The alchemist does not kill fear. He takes the energy of fear, strips away the label of terror, and uses that pure adrenaline to feed his vision. He says, "I feel a great agitation in my chest. I will not call it fear. I will call it excitement before the unknown. I will call it power preparing." By changing the name, he changes the nature of the fire. It stops burning you and starts burning the obstacles. If you feel anger, rejoice. You have plenty of fuel. Anger is the desire for change that has been blocked. Do not suppress it. Do not swallow it, for it will poison you. Take that anger and direct it toward your vision. I am furious with my poverty. Good. I will use this fury not to cry, but to swear that I will never be poor again. I will use this rage as an engine to build my empire. Anger, when sublimated, becomes unwavering determination. The lead has become gold. The taste of victory, the feeling of the end. How does pure gold feel? How does the already fulfilled desire feel? Most novices believe it feels like an explosion of euphoria, like fireworks. They try to force a hysterical joy, jumping and screaming. That is not gold. That is pyrite, fool's gold. It is superficial and runs out quickly. The true secret fire, the feeling that materializes worlds, is deep relief. It is peace. Imagine you have been carrying a sack of stones for 10 years, and suddenly someone takes it from you. What do you feel? You don't jump. You sigh. Your shoulders drop. Your breathing becomes deep. You smile softly. You say, "Thank you, finally it is done." That relief is the energetic signature of manifestation. It implies that the struggle is over. It implies that you already have it. No one feels relief for something they hope to get. One feels relief for what has already been achieved. Look for that feeling. Close your eyes and imagine the end of your problem. Do not seek excitement. Seek the silence of relief. Bathe in those still waters. That is the most potent magnetic state that exists. The universe cannot resist a mind at peace. Earth's anticipated gratitude, the greater magnet. The supreme tool of emotional alchemy is gratitude, but not the gratitude of the common man, who gives thanks after receiving the gift. That is reactive. It is commerce. I speak of the magician's gratitude. The magician gives thanks before seeing. When you give thanks for something that is not yet visible, you are hacking reality. You are sending an unmistakable signal to the cosmos. This has already occurred. Gratitude is the bridge that collapses time. It is impossible to feel gratitude and fear at the same time. They are incompatible vibrations. If your heart is full of thank you, there is no room for worry. Get up every morning and give thanks for perfect health, even if your body hurts. Give thanks for abundance, even if the pantry is empty. Give thanks for love, even if the bed is cold. Do it with such conviction that your eyes fill with tears. Cry with gratitude for what is coming. Those tears are the holy water that waters your seed. The universe, seeing such faith, rushes to bring the object of your gratitude to match your emotion. The universe hates a lie. If you feel truth in gratitude, it will make truth in matter. First, tending the flame, emotional hygiene. The secret fire is sacred, but it is also delicate. The wind of the world blows hard and wants to blow out your candle. News of tragedies, the wailing of neighbors, the envy of the mediocre. All that is cold water thrown upon your forge. You must become the guardian of the fire. Anciently, in the temples, there were virgins or priests whose only job was to ensure that the sacred flame never went out. If the flame died, the temple fell. You are that priest. Your chest is the temple. Your joy is the flame. Protect your emotion as you would protect a newborn. Do not allow just anyone to enter your temple with the dirty shoes of complaint. Stay away from those who love tragedy. Do not drink the poison of bad news before sleeping. If you feel your vibration dropping, stop. Leave everything. Return to silence. Breathe. Remember who you are. Light the flame again with a memory of love or a vision of the future. Do not act, do not speak, and do not decide anything while your fire is low. Sadness, fear. Decisions made in the cold of fear always create more cold. Wait until the fire is high to forge your destiny. Fecht, the offering burning the victim. In every ancient ritual, a sacrifice was required. To obtain the favor of the gods, something had to be burned on the altar. I do not ask you for the blood of a lamb. The universe does not want that. I ask you for a greater sacrifice. You must put your victim on the altar. You must burn your identity of poor me. You must burn your excuses. You must burn your story of pain. The secret fire requires fuel. What better fuel than your old traumas? Take all your painful past, all the times they told you that you were worthless, all the betrayals, and throw them into the fire of your heart. Watch them burn, not with resentment, but with purpose. Thank you, past pain, for being the wood that today warms my home. Thank you, darkness, for making my light shine. Let the victim die in the flames so that the Creator can be born from the ashes. No one can be both things at the same time. Fire purifies, fire releases. Chapter 6. The Open Hand, the Law of Detachment. If you want to retain water, do not clench your fist, for it will slip through your fingers. Make of your hand an open cup, and the water will stay with you. Taoist Proverbs. That which you pursue flees from you. That which you set free returns to you, for freedom is the only condition love and abundance accept to stay. Desert Teachings. Contemplate the royal archer. He has drawn the bow with the strength of his arm, intention. He has looked at the target with the eye of an eagle, imagination. He has felt the fire of victory in his chest, emotion. But now, for the arrow to fly and hit the center, he must do something that seems to contradict all his previous effort. He must let go. He must open his fingers. He must renounce control of the arrow. If the archer loves the arrow so much that he refuses to release the string, or if he is so afraid of failing that his fingers seize up, the shot will never happen. The arrow will fall at his feet, useless. The target is reached only through abandonment. Traveler, you have learned to clean the mirror, to weave on the loom, and to light the fire. But now you find yourself on the threshold, where most apprentices fail. You have created such a beautiful image of your desire. You have fallen so in love with it that you have clung to it with desperation. You squeeze it against your chest. You watch it day and night. You are terrified of losing it, and in doing so you are suffocating it. The law of detachment, or the open hand, is the supreme lesson of trust. It teaches that one cannot possess what one is not willing to release. It teaches that need is the greatest repellent of creation. Today we will learn to open the hand. We will learn that letting go is not losing. Letting go is the only way to receive. Say the paradox of the sand, the fear of loss. Walk to the beach and take a handful of dry sand. Hold your palm open and flat. The sand stays there still secure. But now, close your fist tightly. Try to secure the sand. Squeeze your fingers with panic so that not a single grain escapes. What happens? The sand begins to slip through the cracks of your fingers. The more you squeeze, the more you lose. In the end, when you open your fist, hardly anything is left. This is the tragedy of the sleeping man. He believes that control is security. He believes that worrying, watching, guarding, and manipulating are ways of caring for his desire. He believes that if he stops thinking about his desire for a single instant, it will disappear. But in the realm of the invisible, tension is a blockage. The universe is energy in constant flow. If you contract, fear, attachment, you interrupt the flow. You become a dam that stops the water, and stagnant water rots. For your desire to manifest, it must have space to breathe, it must be able to move. When you attach yourself with desperation to the result, it has to be this way, it has to be now, I cannot be happy if it doesn't happen. You are emitting a signal of absolute lack. You are shouting to the universe, I do not trust you. I believe this is difficult. I believe it is escaping me. And the Great Mirror, Chapter 1, Faithful to Your Emission, will show you that effectively it is escaping you. The golden idol, the trap of importance. When you desire something too much, you commit a metaphysical sin. You turn your desire into an idol. You put it on a pedestal, very high, unreachable. And you place yourself below, small, kneeling, pleading, "Oh, great desire, money, love, fame, you are everything to me. Without you I am nothing, please come to me." Listen well, energy never flows upward. Water always seeks the lowest level. If you put your desire above you, you make it energetically impossible to reach. You repel it. You have given it too much importance. You have created an excessive potential, as the sages of transurfing teach. Nature always seeks balance. If there is too much tension at one point, it will send contrary winds to knock that tension down. If you give a life or death importance to a result, the universe, to balance you, will take the result away. Not out of cruelty, but to relieve the tension and return you to the center. To manifest, you must bring the idol down from the pedestal. You must look your desire in the eyes as an equal. You must say, I love you, I choose you, I prefer you. But I do not need you to breathe. My source of life is my own soul, not you. This attitude of healthy indifference or cold intention is irresistible. When you take the dramatic charge away from the desire, it becomes light. And what is light flies fast toward you. First, the hunt of the shadow, pursuing versus attracting. Imagine you want to catch a stray cat. If you run after it shouting, "Come here, I need you," the cat will flee terrified. Your hunter energy turns it into prey, and the instinct of the prey is to flee. But if you sit quietly, take out a little food, and pretend you don't care about the cat, if you go about your business calmly, the cat, moved by curiosity and hunger, will approach you. Your desire is the cat. Most men live in hunt mode. They pursue money, they pursue love, they pursue success. They are exhausted, sweaty, and frustrated. The Creator does not pursue. The Creator attracts. The Creator becomes the flower full of nectar. The flower does not run after the bee. The flower simply is, and its fragrance, its vibration, forces the bee to come. Detachment is the fragrance of the flower. It is the sign that you are so full, so complete in yourself, that you don't have to steal anything from the world. The world, fascinated by your completeness, runs to offer you its treasures. Stop running, sit on your throne, open your hand. What is for you will find you. For the necessary void, the law of space. For something new to enter your life, something old must leave. It is the law of the void. You cannot fill a cup that is already full of sour wine. First, you must empty it. Many ask for a new love, but they continue sleeping with the ghosts of their ex-lovers, keeping their letters, checking their tracks. Their cup is full of the past. There is no room for the present. Many ask for wealth but have their houses crammed with broken and useless objects they keep just in case. That just in case is a decree of fear of future scarcity. Detachment is not only mental, it is physical. You must demonstrate your faith by making space. Clean your house, throw away the old, give away what you don't use. Pay your debts, energetic and monetary. Forgive grudges. Grudge occupies an immense space in the closet of the soul. By letting go of the old, you create a vacuum of suction. Nature abhors a vacuum. The moment you create a clean space, the universe rushes to fill it. Open the windows. Let the stale air out. Detachment is the cleaning that prepares the arrival of the royal guest. V. The solitary wanderer, sovereignty. The greatest fear that prevents detachment is the fear of loneliness. We believe we are halves looking for another half, but in the Creator's manual there are no fractions. You are the one. You were born complete, and you will die complete. All that you add to your life, partner, money, fame, are ornaments, not load-bearing structures. If your happiness depends on an external pillar, you are a slave to that pillar. If the pillar trembles, you collapse. Detachment is the recovery of your sovereignty. It is reaching the point of saying, I am happy with you, but I can also be happy without you. This sounds cold to the sleeping romantic, but it is the purest form of love, because only when you do not need the other can you truly love them. If you need them, you use them. You use them to cover your gap, to calm your fear, to pay your bills. That is not love, it is parasitism. Only he who is full can give. Only he who is free can unite with another without chaining himself. Practice sacred solitude. Find your center. When you discover that your peace is unshakable and does not depend on the external weather, you will have mastered the world. Vixe, the farmer's faith, sleeping peacefully. Let's go back to the earth. The farmer sows the seed and then he goes to dinner and to sleep. He does not stay all night at the edge of the furrow, shouting, crying, doubting. He detaches himself. He trusts that the earth will do its work. That detachment is faith in action. If you have done your spiritual work, the previous chapters, your only task now is to go to sleep. Metaphorically, this means leave the matter alone. Stop talking about your problem. Stop searching for frantic solutions. Stop checking the phone every 5 minutes. Dedicate yourself to living. Dedicate yourself to enjoying other areas of your life. Play with your children. Read a book. Walk through the forest. By withdrawing your obsessive attention from the problem, you withdraw the resistance. You stop obstructing the universe. Many times the miracle happens just when you forget about the matter. Just when you are distracted doing something else. Why? Because in that moment of distraction you released your fist. Your vibration rose from need to neutrality. And through that gap of neutrality, the light entered. 7th, accepting the worst scenario, the death of fear. There is an ancient technique used by the Stoics and the samurai to achieve radical detachment. It consists of looking fear in the face and embracing it. If you are afraid of losing your money, do not run from that thought. Sit down, close your eyes, and visualize that you lose everything. Imagine yourself in ruin, and then, in that vision, observe yourself surviving. Observe yourself finding a solution or simply being at peace under a bridge. Tell yourself, even if this happens, I am still me. My spirit is immortal. I will be able to rise again. It is not the end of the world. When you mentally accept the worst possible scenario, when you realize it will not kill you, fear loses its teeth. It can no longer bite you. You become invincible. If what I desire happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, also fine. Nothing can destroy me. That attitude of invulnerability is the maximum detachment. And paradoxically, when you no longer fear losing, you win most. Because fear was the only thing keeping the gain away. Fate, the dance of possession without retention. The Creator possesses all things, but nothing possesses him. He enjoys the wine, but he is not a slave to the wine. He enjoys the gold, but if the gold goes, his smile does not go out. He loves his family, but he knows they are free souls lent by time, not his properties. This is mastery, walking through the world enjoying the banquet without clinging to the plates. Understand that everything in matter is temporary. The form changes, the essence remains. If you try to freeze a moment of happiness, you kill it. If you try to hold a person so they do not change, you kill them. You kill them or you kill the love. Life is a dance. In the dance, one must let go of the partner to take them again. The movement is perpetual. Be like the river, not like the pond. The river always has new water because it lets the old water go. The pond retains water for fear of drying up, and that is why it becomes green and murky. Let your money flow. Let your love flow. Let your ideas flow. The more you give, the more you empty the channel for more flow to enter. Stinginess, material or emotional, is spiritual constipation. It is a fatal disease. Open your hand, let go, trust in the inexhaustible source. Says the ritual of the wind. If you feel that attachment burns your hands, if you feel that obsession steals your sleep, perform this sacred act. Go to a high place where the wind blows, or to the seashore. Take in your hands a symbolic object that represents your desire or your problem. A stone, a dry leaf, a written paper. Hold it with strength. Feel all your fear, all your need, all your anguish passing into the object. And then when you are ready, open your hand, throw it into the void, or simply open your palm and let the wind take it away. And as it goes, say out loud, I release you. I release myself. It is not my will but the law that governs. If you are for me, you will return transformed into a blessing. If you are not for me, I leave space for what is better. I am complete. It is done. Feel the lightness in your empty hands. Look at your open palms. Now they are ready to receive. You cannot receive a gift with closed fists. Keep your hands open, Creator. The universe wants to fill them. Chapter 7. The Guardian of the Threshold, Fear. That which you most need to find is found where you least want to look. In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek. Joseph Campbell. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Psalm 23:4. You have walked far, traveler. You have cleaned the mirror of your mind. You have woven in the loom of dreams. You have lit the fire of the heart and learned to open your hand to release the arrow. Now you stand before the golden gates of your desire. You can see the light shining through the cracks. You can smell the perfume of victory. You are just one single step away from entering the promised land. But just as you lift your foot to take that final step, an immense shadow rises before you. The air turns cold. Your legs tremble. Your heart pounds against your ribs like a caged bird. A guttural voice whispers in your ear, "You are not worthy. Go back. Here you will die." I present to you the guardian of the threshold. In ancient maps, this is where cartographers wrote, "Hic sunt dracones," here be dragons. Many aspirants, who have walked the path with bravery up to this point, see the guardian, throw down their weapons, and flee in terror toward the safety of their old misery. They believe the appearance of fear is a sign that something is wrong. They believe the universe is telling them, "Stop, no entry." What a costly mistake. The presence of the guardian is not a sign of prohibition. It is a sign of confirmation. If fear appears, it means you are about to cross a dimensional border. It means you are about to die as a caterpillar and be born as a butterfly. And the caterpillar always trembles before dissolution. The guardian is not there to stop you. He is there to ask you, do Do you want this enough to walk through me? Today, we will learn to look the beast in the eye and walk through its illusory fire. I, the anatomy of the shadow. What is the guardian? The guardian of the threshold is not a demon sent by a jealous god. He is not an external enemy. The guardian is a creation of yours. He is the sum of all your unfaced fears, your ancestral doubts, and above all, he is the defense mechanism of your old identity. Your ego has a biological mission: to survive. For the ego, surviving means staying in the known. The known, even if it is painful, is safe. The unknown, even if it is paradise, is perceived by the ego as death. When you are about to manifest a great change, wealth, love, healing, you are, in effect, killing your old self, the poor self, the lonely self, the sick self. The ego panics. It feels itself dissolving, and in its desperation to keep you in the fold of the familiar, it projects a monstrous shadow before you. It projects scenarios of failure, of ridicule, of loss, and of pain. It creates an optical illusion so convincing that it seems solid as rock. But listen well, the guardian is smoke. He has no real substance. He only has the substance you give him with your belief. He is like the dog that barks furiously behind a fence, but has no teeth. If you run, he will chase you. If you stand firm, he will fall silent. The entrance exam, the test of dignity. Imagine you wish to enter the treasure chamber of a king. At the door are two sentinels armed with crossed swords. They do not let the curious pass, nor the weak, nor those who only want to look. They only let pass the one who walks with the authority of the prince. Fear is that sentinel. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, places this resistance just before success to test your mettle. You cannot handle large amounts of energy, money, power, love, if your vessel is fragile. Fear is the fire that tempers the steel of your spirit. If you crumble at the first threat, it means you are not yet ready to hold the crown. If you flee before doubt, how could you govern a kingdom? The guardian asks you, who are you? If you answer, I am a poor mortal trying to get lucky, the guardian will devour you, paralyze you. If you answer, I am the creator, and you are my shadow, the guardian will lower his sword and open the door for you. The battle is not physical. It is a battle of identity. Fear is the entry price to the new life. Paying it is mandatory. 3. The siren song, the temptation of retreat. The guardian has many faces. Sometimes he is a terrifying monster, but sometimes, and this is more dangerous, he takes the form of a sweet and seductive voice. It is the voice that tells you, why are you trying so hard? Rest. Go back to how it was. It wasn't that bad. Here you are safe. It is the siren song that tried to shipwreck Ulysses. It is the memory of the flesh pots of Egypt that tempted the Israelites in the desert. They preferred to be slaves with full stomachs than free men going hungry on the way to the promised land. When you are at the threshold, you will feel an irrational nostalgia for your old life. You will forget the pain that made you leave and only remember the security. Your mind will rationalize the flight. Maybe it's not the time. Better I wait until next year. I don't need that much. Do not listen. That is the voice of spiritual death. If you turn back now, you will die inside. The soul that has seen the light and voluntarily returns to darkness withers in bitterness. The pain of regret weighs tons. The pain of fear when moving forward weighs only grams. Choose the lightweight. Cross the threshold. IV, the fear of success, the light that blinds. We usually think we fear failure, but if you look deeply into the abyss of your heart, you will discover a more disturbing truth. What you really fear is to succeed. We fear our own greatness. We fear our own light. Why? Because failure is comfortable. It demands nothing. If you fail, you can continue being the victim. You can keep complaining, you can keep being normal and be accepted by your tribe. But if you succeed, everything changes. If you become rich, you will have responsibilities. You will have to learn to say no. Maybe your envious friends will abandon you. If you become powerful, you will be visible. You will be judged. You will no longer be able to hide in the crowd. If you heal, you will no longer have the excuse of illness to not live fully. The guardian of the threshold often shows you the loneliness of the summit to scare you. He tells you, if you cross, you will be alone. No one will recognize you. You will lose your people. And in part it is true. You will lose those who love your smallness. But you will gain those who love your greatness. You must be willing to let your old life die so the new one can be born. You cannot put new wine in old wineskins. Paralysis, the ice in the veins. The physical manifestation of the guardian is paralysis. You feel you cannot move. You have the idea, you have the plan, but when the moment comes to act, to make the call, to sign the paper, to say, I love you, you freeze. It is the ice in the veins. Your body enters an ancestral survival state, fight, flight, or freeze. The sleeping man interprets this paralysis as a sign of inability. I can't do it, I am blocked. The Creator interprets this paralysis as accumulated energy. That trembling in your hands is not weakness, it is an excess of voltage. It is the power of God entering a nervous system that has not yet adapted. Do not wait for fear to disappear to act. Fear will never disappear while you are growing. Fear only disappears when you stagnate or die. If you do not feel fear, it is that you are not at the threshold, you are on the sofa. The secret of heroes is not the absence of fear. That is for idiots or psychopaths. The secret is action despite fear. It is to say, I am terrified, my knees are shaking, but my feet will keep walking forward. Bravery is not a feeling, it is a muscular decision. The gaze of Medusa facing the monster. How is the guardian defeated? Not by fighting him. If you fight against fear, you feed it with your attention and it gets bigger. Not by fleeing from him. If you flee, he will pursue you eternally and bite your heels. The only way is to stare fixedly at him. In myths, when the hero looks the monster in the eyes and asks its name, the monster loses its power. Do this exercise in the solitude of your room. 1. Sit and close your eyes. Invoke your fear. 2. Give it shape. Visualize it before you. Is it a black shadow? Is it a wall? Is it an animal? Do not shrink. Make yourself big in your chair. Breathe deeply. 4. Look at it directly and ask, what are you trying to protect? What are you warning me about? Listen to the answer. Often it will tell you childish things. I don't want them to laugh at you. I don't want you to be alone. Smile at it with compassion, as you would smile at a scared child. Tell it, I see you, I hear you. Thank you for trying to take care of me. But I am in command now. You are my advisor, not my captain. We are going to cross. By treating fear with dignity, but without obedience, you transform it. You stop seeing it as an enemy and see it as a clumsy ally. The monster shrinks. It becomes a faithful dog that walks by your side, alert but quiet. 7. The alchemy of risk leaping into the void. There is a moment in the crossing of the threshold that cannot be thought or planned. It is the moment of the leap of faith. It is the instant in which Indiana Jones puts his foot into the invisible abyss. It is the instant in which the fool from the tarot card walks toward the cliff looking at the sun. The guardian will shout at you, there is no floor, you will fall. Your logic will shout at you, it's madness, you have no guarantees. And you, Creator, must close your ears to reason and listen only to the heartbeat of your intuition. You must leap. There is no other way. You cannot cross the threshold with one foot in safety and another in risk. You must let go of the known shore before you can grab the new shore. There will be a moment in the air where you will have nothing. That moment of suspension is the womb of the miracle. If you demand guarantees before leaping, you will never leap. The universe does not give guarantees in advance. It gives rewards afterwards. The net appears after the leap, never before. The ground solidifies under your feet as you walk, not before. Feet, walking through the fire, the final purification. When you finally decide to move forward and walk through the shadow of the guardian, something extraordinary happens. You expected to be burned, you expected pain, but you discover that the guardian's fire was cold fire. It was an optical illusion, a hologram. You walk through the wall of flames and you do not burn. Only your old clothes burn. Your doubts burn. Your limitations burn. Your old identity burns. You come out the other side naked but clean. You come out reborn. And when you turn around to look at the guardian that terrified you so much, you see he is no longer a monster. Now you see him as he truly is, an angel in disguise. He was there to make sure you left your heavy luggage, your ego, at the door. He was there to purify you. You realized that fear was the fuel you needed to make the leap. Without the fear, there would have been no courage. Without the resistance, there would have been no strength. Giant in the valley of death, persistence in the darkness. Sometimes the threshold is not a moment, but a period. It is the valley of the shadow of death from the psalm. It is when, after taking the leap, things seem to get worse before getting better. It is the darkest night just before dawn. Here the guardian attacks with discouragement. See, you leaped and look what happened, nothing. You are worse than before. This is the last test, the test of sustained faith. Winston Churchill said, "If you are going through hell, keep walking. Do not stop to camp in the valley. Keep walking, keep decreeing, keep visualizing. Your steps echo in the darkness and scare away the demons. You are closer than you think." Most people give up when they are already touching the doorknob of the success door, blinded by the final mist. Not you. You know that the mist is just weather. The sun is still there behind it. Chapter 8. The Valley of Dry Bones, the Appearance of Scarcity. The hand of the Lord came upon me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones, and they were very dry. And he said to me, "Son of man, can these bones live?" And I answered, "O Lord God, you know." Then he said to me, "Prophesy over these bones and say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." Ezekiel 37:1-4. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. John 7:24. You have crossed the threshold. You have looked into the eyes of the guardian of fear, and you have survived. Your heart beats with the strength of victory. You expect with the logic of a child that on the other side of the door of fear you will immediately find green meadows, rivers of milk and honey, and gold shining in the sun. But you open your eyes and what you find chills your blood more than any monster. The desert. You look around you and you see nothing. Your coin account is empty. Your body still hurts. Your bed is still lonely. Friends have left. There is only sand. There is only silence. There is only dry bones bleaching under a ruthless sun. It is the valley of death. It is the place where the promise seems like a cruel lie. It is the place where the echo of your own voice returns empty. Where is my miracle? Where is the abundance I decreed? I have done all the work. I have lit the fire. I have released the arrow, and this is what I receive: nothingness. Traveler, stop your lament. You have not been abandoned. You have been taken to the place of the final test. The valley of dry bones is not the end of your journey. It is the necessary stage for your greatest masterpiece. Any fool can believe in abundance when their pockets are full. Any coward can believe in health when their body is young and strong. But the Creator, the true master of reality, is the one who can stand in the middle of a cemetery, surrounded by death and ruin, and see life. Today, we will learn to walk through this valley without drinking from the sand of despair. We will learn to prophesy over the bones. The great lie of the senses, the mirage. Listen to the ancient truth. Your eyes lie. Your physical senses, sight, hearing, touch, are limited informants. They are designed to report the past, not the future. They are designed to perceive the shell of things, not the seed. When you look at your life and see scarcity, you are falling into the trap of the mirage. In the desert, the thirsty traveler sees water where there is only heat. In the valley of dry bones, the ignorant traveler sees death where there is only sleep. Scarcity does not exist in the kingdom of God. It is a metaphysical impossibility. The universe is an inexhaustible source of energy, life, and substance. If you see scarcity, it is because you are looking through a very small keyhole. You are looking at the temporary now, disconnected from the eternal flow. The dry bones you see around you are not the final destination. They are the raw material. The universe has swept your life and left you with the empty space. The carnal mind calls this poverty. The divine mind calls this blank canvas. Do not weep for the bones, rejoice. Because where there are bones, there is structure. And where there is structure, the spirit can weave new flesh. What your eyes call ruin is simply the construction site that has been cleared to build the palace. The angel's question, can these bones live? In the prophet's vision, the spirit asks him a tricky question. Son of man, can these bones live? It is the question that life is shouting at you right now. You look at your unpayable debts. You look at your medical diagnosis. You look at your age. And the voice asks you, can this revive? Can this change? If you respond with your human logic, you will say, no, it is impossible. They are too dry, too much time has passed. There is no hope. If you respond like this, you seal your destiny. The bones will remain dust and you will join them. But the Creator responds, Lord, you know it. If my word touches them, they will live. Word. This is the attitude. Do not look at the evidence of death. Forensic evidence will always dictate that it is impossible, but you do not operate under forensic laws. You operate under alchemical laws. Alchemy is the art of bringing life out of death. You must look at your zero bank account and say, this is a temporary illusion. The truth is that I am the heir of the king. You must deny the authority of appearance. Appearance shouts loudly, but it is a giant with feet of clay. A single breath of truth brings it down. Thrash the delay of the shadows, the inertia of matter. Why does this valley exist? Why is manifestation not instantaneous? Remember the chapter on the mirror of smoke. Matter is dense. Matter is slow. What you see today in your physical reality, the dry bones, is the result of your thoughts and emotions from months or years ago. It is your crystallized past. You are walking through the shadow of who you used to be. You have already changed inside. You are fire, you are gold. But your external world is still rearranging itself. It is like a great ship that has turned the rudder. The rudder has already turned, your mind. But the immense mass of the ship takes time to complete the curve. During that turn time, it seems like you are still going in the same direction. It seems like nothing has changed. Do not despair. Do not make the mistake of turning the rudder back, thinking the first turn didn't work. Keep the course. The valley of dry bones is the space between the rudder turn and the course change. If you persist, if you ignore the inertia, the ship will turn. It is physical law, the bones will begin to tremble. But you must walk through the valley with your head held high, ignoring the crunch of death under your feet, fixing your sight solely on the North Star of your vision. Fool, the prophet in the cemetery, your work. What should you do while you are in the valley? Sit and weep? Ask for alms from the dead? No. Your work is to prophesy. To prophesy is not to guess the future, it is to dictate the future. It is to speak to dead matter with the authority of God. Ezekiel did not pray to God to fix the bones. God said to Ezekiel, "Prophesy you over these bones. The power is in your mouth. Stand in the middle of your scarcity. Stand in the middle of your empty living room or your sick body. And speak. Say, 'Dry bones, hear the word of the I Am. I command the Spirit to enter you. I command tendons to appear. I command flesh to cover the structure. I command skin to cover the flesh, and I command the breath of life to enter you.' Do it literally. Speak to your money. Grow and multiply. Speak to your cells. Regenerate and shine. Speak to your invisible clients. Come from the north, south, east, and west. At first you will feel ridiculous talking to the air in an empty room. The guardian of the threshold, fear, will laugh at you. Reason will call you crazy. But if you hold the decree, you will begin to hear a noise, a dull noise, a shaking of the earth. It is the bones joining, bone to bone. Reality will begin to reorganize to obey the voice of the prophet. But if you are silent before death, death reigns. You must speak life. The fast of the senses, closing the eyes. To survive the valley, you must practice a severe discipline, the fast of the senses. Just as you fast from food to clean the body, you must fast from seeing evil to clean the soul. If you look at the news and see economic crisis, you fill yourself with dry bones. If you listen to your friends complain about how bad everything is, you fill yourself with dust. You must become selectively blind and deaf. When the world shows you an unpaid bill, do not look at it with terror. Look at it as a paper that is already paid in the spiritual plane. Deny the evidence of your senses. Say, "My eyes see lack, but my spirit sees provision. I choose to believe my spirit." This is not madness. It is superior sanity. It is understanding that reality is malleable and that observation collapses the wave. If you observe scarcity with emotion, you create more scarcity. You must withdraw your attention from the bones. Look at them only as much as necessary so as not to stumble, but do not focus on them. Focus your inner gaze on the living army that those bones are going to be. Maintain the double vision. One eye on the ground to walk, and the other eye on heaven to create. Fear the mockery of the spectators, the comforters of Job. In your journey through the valley, characters will appear, friends, family, realists. They will come to you like the friends of Job, with long faces and false words of comfort. They will tell you, "See, we told you that dreaming doesn't work. Come down to earth, accept your fate, be humble." Where is your God now? Where is that wealth you talked about? Their words are poison, they are tests. They are the voice of collective common sense trying to drag you back to the fold of mediocrity. Do not get angry with them. Do not try to convince them. They cannot see what you see. They only see bones. You see the sleeping army. Forgive them, for they know not what they do, but do not listen to them. If necessary, move away. Enter your tent and close the entrance. It is better to be alone with your vision in the desert than accompanied by unbelievers who throw water on your fire. Protect your sacred madness. Servant, the crumb trap, conformism. There is a mortal danger in the desert. Hunger makes you lower your standards. You have been walking so long without seeing results that suddenly you find a dry bush with some bitter berries.